This is our old code. I want to demonstrate the vulnerability in our old code so we can make sure we fixed it. So this is the old code running here. And if we were to take a look at this, we're going to modify our cookie, document.cookie. That's the value. Let's say we want to set this to visits 10,001. First, we need to find what the hash of 10,001 is. We can use Python for that. Let's go ahead and try that real quick. Import hashlib, hashlib.md5.10,001, hex digest. Okay, we'll take this value here. Let's take that with us into our browser. We're forging cookies here. So we're going to say document.cookie equals visits equals 10,001 pipe our new hash value. Now when we reload this page, whoa, we are the best ever. But we're not the best ever, we just cheated. Okay, so let's incorporate the new functions we just wrote into our code. So here we are in our editor, and I've plopped in our new function. We're gonna move secret out of the way here. We're gonna pretend this is actually a secret and it's actually in another module that you don't publish or share. And now our function should be as good as new. Let's try this out in our browser. Okay, so here we are in our browser. We've dropped in a new hashing function, so our old cookies are going to become invalid, and when we reload the page, you can see we've been here one time. If we were to inspect the cookie, document.cookie, we can see that we have this cookie. Now, it's got the same format as the previous cookie, except this one is very hard to forge. Without knowing that secret, all we can do is guess at the hash, and that's, the property of the hashing algorithms is that is basically impossible to get correct. So if I were to modify this cookie, document.cookie equals visits equals 10,001, I mean, what value do we even put in here? I mean, we can iterate over, every possible hash and just kind of guess at it and maybe get lucky, but we'd have to get extraordinarily lucky. You see, I reloaded the page and it reset down to 1. And when I mean extraordinarily lucky, I mean we'd have to take more time than there are, atoms in the universe to figure it out. So that's not going to work in our favor. Okay, so that's pretty cool. I just want to summarize that algorithm so it's clear what we did. Instead of setting the cookie visits equal 1, which can be easily forged, and instead of setting the cookie visits equals 1 and then the MD5 of 1, which can also be easily forged if you know that we're using MD5, we instead set it to visits equals 1 pipe Hmac secret comma 1. And as long as we keep this secret, they can know our algorithm, they can know what we're doing, they can even see our code, and they won't be able to forge invalid cookies, which is a pretty neat property. We use this all the time. Because imagine if we're not counting, instead of counting visits, we're counting user IDs. It would be a real big problem, if I'm logged into, my mail, my Gmail, and I've got a cookie that identifies, who I am. If somebody could just say, well, my user ID is Steve's user ID, and then be logged into my email, that would be a very big problem. So that's why you do things like this. This prevents people from forging your cookie. And also, it saves you some effort validating on the server side, because if this doesn't validate, you don't have to check to see if the string is all digits and all that sort of stuff, because you know it came from you know what you set it to, and it makes your life a little simpler. So this is a really popular strategy we're going to use for all sorts of things in this class.